June the 1st, 1999. American Airlines Flight 1420 has been delayed by weather.
Dispatch, please. Yeah, it's Michael Origo.
Storms threaten this flight's destination, Little Rock National Airport in Arkansas.
The pilots of 1420 had received a briefing from their dispatch department about all of the thunderstorm activity that they were going to encounter between Dallas and Little Rock. They were also warned about the fact that because of the fast-moving weather system, that they would be entering into an area called, or what was characterized as, the bowling alley.
Two hours behind schedule, the pilots decide to make the flight. They race to fly through a gap in the storm system.
Whoa, looks like it's moving this way, though.
Yeah. Just some lightning straight ahead.
I think we're gonna be okay, though. Right there.
Yep, right down the bowling alley.
As my friends would say, California cool.
Cool. Peachy.
Exactly.
If they don't make it in time, they will either have to divert to another airport or land in severe weather conditions.
They were made aware by dispatchers that they were going to have to get into this alley or this area of clear weather, and they didn't have a lot of time to do it.
But as they near the airport, the weather gets even worse.
American 1420, it appears we have a second part of the storm moving through. The wind now is
340 at 16, gust 34.
Okay, did you notice something? Did you see the airport there?
Where?
There, okay? Right. You're on a base for it, okay? It's right there.
Well, I'm on a base now?
It's like a dog leg. We're coming in, and there it is, right there.
I lost it. I don't see how we can maintain visual.
The plane was rocking and rolling at that point. It was pretty doggone unstable. I don't know what made me aware, so doggone aware, that we were going to have a problem. I don't know what did that.
One of the things that we analyzed was a statement by the captain that was recorded on the cockpit voice recorder.
See, I hate droning around visual at night in weather without having any clue where we are.
It gave us an indication that they didn't have situational awareness. They didn't really understand the gravity of the environment that they were flying into.
American 1420.
right now we have heavy rain on the airport.
I don't have new weather for you, but visibility is less than a mile.
And the runway 48 RVR is 3,000.
As the pilots of American Airlines Flight 1420 attempt to land, visibility has been reduced even further.
The wind's now 350
at 30, gusts 45.
Can we land?
030 at 45, American 1420.
3,000 RVR, we can't land on that.
No, 3,000 if
What
you
do
look
we
at...
need?
No, it's 2,400 RVR.
Okay, right.
Yeah, we're fine.
The stress level of a pilot increases, especially in an environment where there's thunderstorms, only because multiple decisions are having to be made in very short periods of time.
15. Landing gear down. And lights, please.
The pilots could divert to another airport, but they decide to attempt the landing. Air traffic controllers have detected a dangerous crosswind on the runway.
Wind shear alert. Center field wind 350 at 32.
Gusts 45. North boundary wind 310 at 29.
Northeast boundary wind 320 at 32.
1,000 feet. 20. 40-40 land.
This is a can of worms.
Wind is
330 at 28.
I'm gonna stay above it a little.
There's a runway off to your right. You got it?
No.
I got the runway in sight. You're right on course.
I got it.
Stay where
I
you
got it. I got it.
wind 330 at 23.
Damn, we're off course.
No, I can't see it.
Way off.
I can't see anything.
Got it?
Got it.
With winds pounding the airport and the runway slick with rain, the pilots make their final approach.
40. 30. 20. 10. We're down. We're sliding. Oh, no.
They lose control of the aircraft as they speed down the runway.
On the brakes. Other one. Other one. Other one.
The plane runs off the end of the runway and crashes into several steel columns.
Well, I knew I was not going to die in that thing. I got out of that plane probably in 10 seconds. It's like being in war. Go, go, go.
But not everyone is so lucky. 11 people are killed in the crash of American Airlines Flight 1420, including Captain Richard Bushman.
Did they really know what they were getting themselves into? That was a key point for us as investigators. They went into an environment that was detrimental to their safety.
The National Transportation Safety Board rules that the pilot's decision to land at Little Rock Airport was the primary cause of the accident. On the day of the crash, the pilots of Flight 1420 had to rely on controllers to relay information about conditions on the runway. At the Aviation Weather Center, meteorologists are trying to get rid of that middleman.
We can provide a picture right in the cockpit, and the pilot can navigate looking at a picture as opposed to trying to translate some words that they've heard read to them over a radio. They can see what the hazard's going to be in relation to aircraft and start making decisions immediately as opposed to decoding, drawing where that hazard is, thinking about where they are in relation to the hazard, and then trying to make that decision. It will speed up the process.
Throughout the day, meteorologists in this room have been tracking a band of fierce thunderstorms in the southern United States. Those storms are beginning to die down. Meteorologists have started to reopen airspace they had previously closed. Air traffic is returning to normal.
The most active convective weather was over eastern North Carolina and southward. Now there is a lot of lower topped precipitation that doesn't have thunderstorms, and they're more than likely, if they're going up across western North Carolina and central Virginia, they're able to pretty much fly over that weather.
The thunderstorms in the southern United States are dying down. But the meteorologists are now keeping a close eye on a very dangerous new development. A volcano south of the United States.
Volcanic ash clouds can be a hazard and do a lot of damage to the aircraft and to engines.
Nolan Duke is tracking weather over the Gulf of Mexico.
This is Sulphur Hills. This is near Antigua and the Windward Islands, southeast of Puerto Rico, and it blew its stack.
Soufriere Hills volcano has been venting ash for the past week. The volcanic ash cloud it's been releasing could prove deadly if pilots were to fly through it. The Aviation Weather Center has issued a SCHMIDT to keep planes away from the plume.
Each one of these frames is an hour. And by sunrise, the volcanic ash cloud is this little milky region right in here. Sometimes it's very difficult to discern between the ash clouds and the meteorological clouds, but a well-trained eye with a lot of experience will see this ash cloud.
We have 30,000 people living on platforms, drilling platforms out here at any given time. and they have 650 helicopters that fly every day over the northern Gulf of Mexico, delivering people, materials, and food to keep these drilling operations going. We thought it would end yesterday, and they forecasted it to puff and disappear, but it's still going today. As long as we can see ash plume, we will continue to issue the SCHMIDT.
Unlike ash that you might see in a chimney or after a fire in a forest, this is not soft material at all. This is very fine, ground-up particles of solid rock and minerals.
But that fine dust has the power to stop a 300-ton airliner. On June the 24th, 1982, the devastating effects of an ash cloud took the crew of a British Airways jet completely by surprise.
Barry and I were just sitting there minding the shop. Pitch dark night, of course. And then we started to get these pinpricks of light on the windscreen.
Mount Galunggung on the island of Java has erupted, but no warnings have been issued to pilots. When the 747 flies into the cloud, it collides with the volcanic ash particles inside. The friction creates a bright, shimmering glow on the windscreen.
Because it's such a dry environment up there, that frictional electrification produces the glow that we refer to as St. Elmo's fire.
Same on my side.
But the crew had no idea what they were looking at.
This light show, if you like, had become more intense. In fact, we ended up sitting there with two sheets of brilliant white light in front of us in place of the windscreen.
Passengers aboard the flight also see a strange glow around the plane's jet engines. Smoke begins to seep into the cabin around them. Volcanic ash has been sucked into the aircraft's ventilation system. With ash particles clouding the cabin and the aircraft lit up, the volcanic cloud deals its most deadly blow.
Engine failure, number 4. Fire action, number 4.
The ash has snuffed out one of the jet's 4 massive engines.
Closed. Start lever. Off.
There were huge flames coming out of the back of the engines, 20, some people said 40 feet long, shooting out of the back of all the engines. Is it going to penetrate from the outside of the aircraft? Is it going to come into the cabin? Are we going to burn to death? Are we going to choke to death on the smoke?
Number 2, engine's gone. All right then, begin the engine shutdown.
No, wait! They've all gone. All 4 engines have failed.
The other 3 just went out almost immediately, and that's when it begins to be a serious emergency.
A minute and a half, we've gone from 4 engines running normally to having none.
The 747 is suddenly powerless, and it's quickly falling to the sea. Starting the engines has become the crew's only priority. But volcanic ash is making that task impossible.
The temperature in the combustion chamber where this ash is flowing through are around 2,000 degrees centigrade. And so the volcanic ash we know melts at about 1,300, 1,400 degrees.
The volcanic ash transforms into molten goo within the jet engines. The material blocks key air passages and causes the engines to surge and shut down.
We got a fundamental disturbance of the airflow in the main core of the engine, which caused the engine to backfire. And the engines flamed out, and that was the cause of the problem.
Roger, declare emergency.
Mayday, 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 Speedbird 9. We have lost all 4 engines out of 370.
Without the engines, the 747 begins to fall from the sky. At an altitude of 35,000 feet, the pilots have less than half an hour before their aircraft will crash into the Indian Ocean.
All right, begin restart drill.
Set.
Battery.
Check. On.
The standard restart drill takes 3 minutes to complete.
Anything? Anything?
No. Again.
All right then, from the top, battery.
The crew will have fewer than 10 attempts to start the engines.
Fire switch.
In.
British Airways Flight 009's dead engines are having an effect inside the cabin. The engines usually maintain air pressure. Without them, the pressure is dropping. Passengers are having difficulty breathing.
Breathe normally, Mum, not deeply.
Standby power. Open. Crossfeed valve. In. Fire switch. Closed.
We hadn't had any success with the drill at all, despite all the efforts we were putting in. But it was the only thing we had left to cling on to, so that's what we did.
From the top again. Battery. Check. On. Standby ignition on. Start lever on. All right, are we getting something?
It's not starting.
I knew it was so difficult to land aeroplanes on the sea, even when you had everything going for you. And I thought that, well, we haven't got much going for us here. I'd never done it before.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. We're doing our damnedest to get it under control. I trust you are not in too much distress.
All right, from the top then. Battery. Check. On. Standby power.
On.
Start lever. Well, anything?
No.
All right then, from the top again. Battery.
We had very few chances left of starting the engines before having to turn out to sea again, because we wouldn't have been able to clear the mountains on the south coast of Java.
Then, with just 12,000 feet separating British Airways Flight 009 from the ocean,
Fuel pressure.
engine number 4 roars to life.
Engine 4 back online.
The noise that a Rolls-Royce engine makes when it starts up is low rumbling noise, and it was just, well, it was wonderful to hear it.
The glass now is half full, it's not half empty. We're now in with a real chance. And I tell you what, the 3 of us would have dragged that aeroplane around the whole island of Java.
Thrust lever.
Closed.
Start lever.
Cut off.
Fuel pressure.
Available.
Standby ignition on. Start lever on.
Engine 3 back online. I don't believe it. Engines 1 and 2 both back online.
As soon as you came out of the volcanic ash, and the engines were not running, remember, so everything cooled down, it was enough for this stuff to break off and allow the engines to restart.
We say, right, let's get this thing on the ground as quickly as we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We seem to have overcome that problem and have managed to start all the engines. We are diverting to Jakarta and expect to land in about 15 minutes.
British Airways Flight 009 landed safely. No one was injured, and an important lesson was learned.
We have learned quite a bit, and we've incorporated this learning into pilot training. Pilots now, for example, know what signs to look for.
After British Airways Flight 009's emergency landing in Jakarta, communications were improved between the geologists who watch volcanoes on the ground and the pilots who must avoid the ash clouds.
During the day, they are plainly visible to pilots. And then at nighttime, they're relying a lot on their onboard radars, and that's not going to detect volcanic ash.
Anything on the radar?
No.
So they're completely blind to it, and they just blindly fly right into the ash cloud.
Today, meteorologists were forced to shut down airspace due to violent thunderstorms and volcanic ash. The weather on the east coast is now clearing, and the volcanic plume is starting to thin.
We never really seem to get a break where we can sit back and put our feet on the desk and relax. There's always something going, and there's always the next storm coming down the pipeline, and we got to address it.
The next storm has begun to appear. Pilots in the Seattle region are calling in with reports of severe turbulence.
But we've got two systems actually over the west that we're watching. One over now over Central California, and what looks like it's a little bit more powerful storm coming onshore into Washington and Oregon. That's certainly going to be our attention getter for the next day and a half.
More than 1 million people got on an airplane on this stormy December day. Some planes were delayed, but there wasn't a single accident due to weather. That's the kind of result these meteorologists hope for every day.
Ideally, we'd never have clouds or any type of hazardous weather for pilots, and everything be clear skies and smooth sailing. We're here to help people be safe, and when that duty calls, we're prepared. We'll catch our breath today and get ready for tomorrow.